Hi everyone, my name is Sue and I'm Vietnamese, and this is
Pete. And I'm British.
and today we would love to talk about our interracial relationship. We think it would be nice to share our experience of the relationship to everyone in an open and positive way. So let's begin. The first time when I met your parents, I was really nervous because I was born in Vietnam, was raised in Vietnam for like more than 20 years, so cultures are so different, and I was like, oh, what should I do, what should I say, what should I wear, what if something goes wrong? And then after that it was fine, like everyone's so welcoming, so lovely, and I felt like, yeah, a part of the family.
In Asian culture, you're used to kind of having to say the right things and wear the right things to do the right things, but in Western culture we're not.
Yeah.
Like if we were to meet someone's parents, yeah, you could be a little bit nervous or anything, but it's like different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like there isn't the expectations that you have in Asia over what you should do, how you should act, what you should wear, which is why I wasn't really nervous or anything.
Yeah, just for your information, in Vietnam it's quite different to a Vietnamese mom. A son is more like a treasure. She had it since the beginning. She put a lot of love, put a lot of effort into it. So a girl who come in and then want to be with that treasure, the mom's gonna be like, oh, why? And that's why like they can be a bit more protected. And it can be like, yeah, a lot of judgment at the first time, but then that's the reason why I was like, oh, what should I do, what should I do, should I not say anything? You remember, like, I asked you a lot of questions like, is there anything that I should not say, is there anything that I should not do, should not wear, to make sure that
I think that's just the culture difference, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, before I met your parents, I think it's quite good because we obviously travelled back from Australia to Vietnam together, and you've been in Australia for what, 4 years?
Yeah.
So it was like they were getting their daughter back, so I was kind of out the way a bit. Like it wasn't meeting the parents; it was a reunited kind of with the daughter.
Yeah.
So I had it easy because if you were already there and I was coming to visit, then it would be a bit different. Like once you settled in, but it wasn't that your parents were kind of with you again, and I was trying to keep out of the way because of that.
I remember before meeting my parents, you were like, oh, how was your dad like, and then how was your mom like, could my mom speak any English? And I'm like, no, my mom doesn't speak any English, and she's the only one in the family that doesn't speak English, even though my mom couldn't speak any English. And then you spend a whole day with her without me or my sister or my dad.
Yeah.
Went to a temple. How did you manage to do that?
Your mum was friendly, so she took me out for the day and took me to the temple, and we didn't speak the same language, but
did you use your hands a lot?
yeah. Like she not that I needed anything, but she knew what I wanted. Like she took me for food, I was full.
Yeah.
She took me to the temple, had a little look around. Before we go back to Vietnam, I always like take a couple of months to kind of try and learn a bit more. And every time I go back, I learn a lot more, I think. I think I don't have as much opportunity to speak Vietnamese as you think. Because you're there, you're always there, and your family's always there. I'm not really in Vietnam by myself.
No.
I know enough to get by. I can go to the coffee shop and order a coffee and get that right. I was in a taxi, and your road's very difficult to remember because it's down like a lot of side roads, a lot of left, right. And I managed to get the taxi driver there by saying the right stuff.
Yeah.
Not with hand gestures as well, which is quite good. I'd like to learn more. I'd like to get a lot more fluent in it.
We were lucky enough to have 2 weddings, one in here and one in Vietnam.
The wedding in here was just for paperwork, really. Like we knew we wanted to get married, so it's just like, and we're both not really that bothered about having a big wedding.
No.
So here it was just for the paperwork, but in Vietnam it was the ceremony. It was bigger. There was a lot of people. It was tradition and culture, and yeah, it was really fun.
Because in Vietnam we could afford to have like a full traditional Vietnamese wedding with like in the morning ceremony and the evening party as well. And then we have the Vietnamese traditional dress. So if you're interested to see the video of our wedding, the link for that video is going to be in the description box below. Just click there if you want to see. I think it's more like languages. and cultural barriers. Because like I said, I was born in Vietnam and raised there for a long time, so sometimes I don't really understand fully the English culture. I'm still learning right now, but it's really hard, and sometimes it's hard to explain what I'm thinking and what I see the thing in real life. Sometimes I don't have enough vocabularies to actually explain the stuff well through that, and when you hear what I say, you take it a little bit wrong of what I'm thinking, and then you come back with something completely different, and that's when like the difficulties appears, right?
Yeah.
I remember when we was in Vietnam, it was like the first time you came to visit Vietnam with my family. I took him to Ben Thanh Market. We were holding hands at that time. I could feel that there were people staring at us and then whispering at the background. And then all of a sudden, just a lady who's the shop owner, and she was like, "Get a room." And I felt a bit scared because like I didn't experience that before, and we were just holding hands. And then I come back to ask my dad, like, why did they do that? And then my dad said, like, in Vietnamese culture, we don't normally showing a lot of love in public, like holding hands or like cuddles or like kissing and stuff like that. So seeing a Vietnamese girl with a Western guy holding hands like that in public is kind of unusual, and people are not used to any unusual stuff going on, so they react toward that, and that's how it's different. And to me it's a bit mean, and I feel like, yeah, we should be able to express our love. And it was just holding hands, and that's sort of not like making out in the public, because I couldn't do that, but that's one of the things. Thank you for listening to our experience. We would like to hear about your experience as well. So if you would like to share, please comment below. Well, see you next time then. Bye.
I look really white.
I look really yellow.